ShartimusPrime, ShartimusPrime. Reading comics, toys are hella sick, hella whacking it. Taking bad hits, taking back hits. Subscribe for more things.
Maybe catch a movie if you're down, or, get some oysters. Hey, what's up, you guys? ShartimusPrime here, doing another Marvel Legends action figure review on the Marvel Legends Ant-Man and Wasp movies. Cull, Obsidian, Build-A-Figure Waves, Ant-Man. If you're trying to pre-order this figure, you can do so right now.
Big. Get your big badass toys at BigBadToyStore.com. Click the link in the description below.
And I gotta give a big thanks to Comic and Figure Addicts for making this review possible, as well as Doug. Thanks so much. We had a problem in the mail getting this one over here. And thanks so much for Comic and Figure Addicts bailing out at the last minute. And then checking out the side, you can see a nice image of Ant-Man. And then on this back side, you can see a nice image of the figure. And then it has this cool little shrinking effect. I like what they did over there. There's a read-up over here. If you want to read it, go ahead and pause it now. And then there's the other figures from the wave. Then we get that image of Ant-Man again. And then we get the Pim Particle logo all spot varnished on the very top right over there. And not much more at the bottom. So let's get to it and crack this thing open. And here's Ant-Man out of the packaging, and I like this figure. I do like this figure in some ways, but in other ways I'm sorely disappointed. This figure doesn't really come with many accessories. I mean, everything aside from the Build-A-Figure piece is what you see right over here, so let's get a closer look. And just a friendly reminder, I still have some sizes available for the Legendary Collector t-shirts. If you want one, check it out, link below. So here's looking at that Paul Rudd head sculpt, and I tried to find an image of Paul Rudd making this facial expression, and I was unsuccessful. I did find other images, and it's very likely that Paul Rudd can make this face in the Ant-Man and Wasp movie. I mean, he's a comedian, he's got goofy facial expressions and all that. And this looks amazing just from the top of the forehead down. Just like the face itself, I think just looks remarkably accurate to Paul Rudd's likeness. I think most of us are very impressed by this. I love the 5 o'clock shadow that we're seeing right there. Definitely looks more like him dead on from the sides. It looks a little bit strange, but it's mostly, I think, a really good looking face sculpt. I like how the eyes came out, the eyebrows, the paint for the mouth. I mean, the way the chin is sculpted, I think they just did a great job with that face sculpt. That really looks like Paul Rudd to me. Now, the big bummer for this one for me, though, is the hairline and this hair sculpt placement. I don't know if you could see it through the camera, but you could see how his whole face kind of has a little bit more of this glossier kind of texture to it, where there's this little thin strip between, you could kind of see that line right there, and then it's a lot more dull right between that hairline and the plastic, and I think that's where the hairline should have gone. So his forehead is way too tall. I mean, he already has a big forehead, but they made it even bigger by misplacing this hair piece right here. So as you can see, as I kind of peel at this, you can remove that. It's its own separate piece. So yeah, after this segment, I'm going to go heat this up, try to remove it, and I'm going to see what I could do about trying to, place it on there in a different way. But as you can see right here on the side, on the back, and around the ears, it looks like it landed where it was supposed to go. So I don't know if there's something in the sculpt of the hair where it didn't come down far enough, or maybe, there's too much plastic in the back of the head and it's supposed to be smushed a little bit further forward. I don't know what, and you could clearly see this seam coming along right over here. I feel like that should have been hidden by the hair. Same thing on this side. You can see that big fat seam right there. So yeah, the original Ant-Man I ordered should be arriving in the mail soon, so once I get that in hand, I'll be able to make a comparison, and I'll discuss that further when I do the Cull Obsidian review. So that should be going up tomorrow. But looking on the top of the head, looks pretty good. And then we also get the helmeted Ant-Man head sculpt, which, oh man, this is disappointing. It just doesn't look right to me. I don't know why. I feel like this spot right over here in the very front is a little bit too flat, but I guess I need to see the movie to make a really good comparison. And at least we have a more film accurate version compared to the first Ant-Man figure. You know what I mean? It just didn't look like that in the movie at all. But yeah, I guess maybe, in Civil War, I got used to that snout kind of thing going on, and this one just doesn't have that. So it's a little bit of a bummer, but I do like how we have this nice silver plastic right here. And I do like how it changes to this gunmetal color, especially right at the top. You can see some nice texturing right over there, a little bit of marbling in the plastic. And on the back, it doesn't look too bad. So yeah, looking at the rest of the body though, I do like the textured sculpt that we see throughout. The suit looks really good. This is all flat on the other version right there, so it didn't have that texturing going on. And I think the paint apps are fairly clean. There are some spots I noticed, like for instance right here, you can see some extra red splotching, you know, where it's not supposed to be there. But I do like this whole silver trim that we're seeing throughout. I like that a lot. And the hands and the forearms look really good over here. He has a fisted hand on the right side. You can see some nice rivets on the inside of that forearm. And then on the left side, he has this open hand right here. Wish he had like a gesturing hand. I really wish this figure came with accessories, by the way. I've heard a lot of people mention that, and that is a bit of a disappointment. He has no mini Ant-Man version or Antony or anything like that. You can see his belt, you know. I wish they could have added a little bit more detail to it, you know. Seems like there's more detail in the first Ant-Man movie version, right? I mean, look at that. You get that nice silver dry brushing in there. Or it looks like a silver wash, the black, you know, this one's just flat plastic all the way through. So not the greatest. There's your Paul Rudd butt, Paul Rudd back. That part looks pretty neat. I like that. So there's parts where I really like the paint details, you know, nice silver trim around right over here, little pieces of red missing. I don't like that little bit right there. That bothers me some. Boots look pretty good, nice shin guards and stuff. So the texturing's pretty thorough throughout on this piece. He does have peg holes at the bottom of his feet as well. So yeah, it did bother me enough to where I did go for it. I heated this head up and I removed all of the hair and I tried to scooch it forward as best as I could and I re-glued it to his scalp and everything, and yeah, it doesn't really look too great. I did get my second copy right here and I'm gonna just leave this one as it is. This will probably be on display. I don't know if what I did here makes the figure look a little better. Now that I'm seeing them side by side like this, I actually think this is a bit of an improvement, just looking straight on. I don't know, but it really looks like it's a consistent thing going on. I'm still seeing a little bit of a finish difference right here. You know, a little glossy, a little bit more matted, just right in between the hairline and this little portion right there. And you can see that we have that seam running along the side of his face once again. So that's just how the figure is. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Well, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Now that articulation on this figure is pretty good. You can get his head moving upward a bit, so that's pretty nice. I like that. And you can move the head downward. You also get side-to-side motion. No real head tilting though. Shoulders move outward pretty far, so I do like that. I did see some paint rub though on the very top of each of those shoulder joints, so yeah, be mindful of that. You can rotate the arms a full 360. You get bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, which are very good. Then you get side-to-side motion and hinges up and down on both sides. You also get an ab crunch that doesn't move forward as much as I'd like it to. You know, it's kind of a weak ab crunch. It will bend back a whole lot more, so what's the deal with that anyway? Why are we getting more bending back than bending forward ab crunches lately? Anyway, waist swivel, hips move outward pretty far, and then he does kick forward, not back so much, upper thigh cut, double jointed knees, and then ankles move down, they do move up, and he has great ankle pivot. Now to measure out this Ant-Man figure, you can see that he's standing at 6.5 inches tall. And then for your 6-inch Ant-Man figure comparison, you can see we have the Civil War SH Figure Arts Ant-Man, and then we have the first Ant-Man Marvel Legends movie figure right there, and you can see the differences between these. You know, the SH Figure Arts are always just shorter than the 6-inch scale Marvel Legends. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of like how the mask looks best on this one. I haven't even thought about trying to interchange the heads or trying to do a head swap, but yeah, that peg is nowhere near the size of the peg from this one, so I don't think that's going to work. No, that's not going to work. Then here's our Scott Lang movie figure next to a couple Scott Lang figures from the comics. We have the modern version right over here that came with the Stinger 2-pack, and then we have the Toy Biz Giant Man Wave Scott Lang Ant-Man, which I mistakenly called Hank Pym in 2 different videos. Oh, for shame. And then here's a new 6-inch Ant-Man figure next to the Giant Man Build-A-Figure, and then we have the Hot Toys Ant-Man from Civil War. And finally, we can use a 6-inch Ant-Man figure for the growing effect without it looking all weird with this inaccurate head sculpt. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. But let's go ahead and add a Marvel Select Ant-Man in the middle right there. And then we have a 3¾ inch Ant-Man that came with Antony. And we could put that right there. This looks pretty cool, but there is one thing that's bothering me right now, and it's that the head sculpt on this new figure is actually wider than the helmet sculpt on the 7-inch scale Marvel Select Ant-Man figure from a few years back. So yeah, that's a little irksome. And then I wanted to show this new Ant-Man figure next to the Wasp figure from this wave, just because we got that clear lens over the eyes right there for the helmet, and I wish we'd gotten that for this figure, especially because we'd seen that on the Giant Man figure as well. They gave us the clear lenses right there for this helmet too. So yeah, kind of a bummer that we didn't get that for this new piece. And then here's a new Ant-Man figure alongside all of the other figures from this wave that I've already reviewed. We have Malekith, Thor, Wasp, Black Widow, and Black Knight, and we'll have Cull Obsidian review up tomorrow. And then here's a new Ant-Man figure next to the Marvel Legends Big Time Letdown Spider-Man. Hey man, Hook it up with some pin particles, huh? I want to be big. Hook it up, man. Hook it up. All right, thanks. Woohoo! All right, now whoa. I feel kind of dizzy. Oh. I gotta give a big thanks to you guys that support this YouTube channel by watching my videos all the way through, and those of you that support the channel via Patreon or purchasing ShartimusPrime merch, or those of you that do all of the above. I mean, really, thanks so much, you guys. Helps this YouTube channel keep going. I love posting 7 videos a week, so I really appreciate it. And I also appreciate it when you hit that like button when you like the video and leave your comments, and make sure you subscribe in case you haven't already, as well as hitting that notification bell. This figure over here isn't awful, man. There's things about it that I actually do like, you know, seeing that silver trim and seeing the more updated design, aside from that helmet sculpt, I think it looks pretty good. I'm very impressed with the Paul Rudd facial expression, but, you know, I feel like that forehead is still just a little bit off, but even comparing that Paul Rudd head sculpt to some images of Paul Rudd online, it looks like the guy really does have a huge frickin' forehead, but I don't know, I think it's arguable, and I'm curious to know what you guys think about that Paul Rudd head sculpt, so please leave your comments down below. As far as how I feel about this figure, I'm gonna give it a stud rating of
I'll wait for the Black Friday sale.
and it was very hard to rate this figure, you know, but I gotta say overall there's a lot of disappointment in the fact that he doesn't come with a lot of accessories. That really does bum me out, you know, especially last time we'd gotten a bunch of mini accessories with the Ant-Man figure, and this time we're not seeing that, so that's a little bit of a bummer. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, ShartimusPrime Legendary Collector t-shirts are available at ShartimusPrime.net, and if you want to stay in touch with me, please go ahead and follow me on the Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Links to everything in the description below. I'll catch you guys later. Peace!
I'm gonna play with my toys today. Well, I don't care what my people say. I'm gonna play with my toys today. Can't have one, I gotta get them all. Time to make a trip to the local mall. Oh yeah!
That's crispy.
Hey, new ShartimusPrime videos. Hey, you should click one. Yeah, click on one of them. Or subscribe if you haven't.
Your face, I set my shot.